I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and in today's video I'm going to be talking to you about why didn't she contact me? Isn't it awful when you're waiting for somebody to contact you, or you're looking forward to hearing back from them and they're taking a lot longer than you want? It really challenges us, and at our core that's really about our security or our confidence level. That we get rattled when the people that we really care about or like take a lot longer than we're hoping that they will. But that's one of the things that I always try and teach you with becoming more confident within yourself. And like when we talk about attachment styles, because it's really about attachment. And our confidence comes from our early life and the attachment that we had with our caregivers, right? And that's where we became insecure. That's why I want you guys to stay so focused on doing the creative healing course or the workbooks, because when it helps you at your core, you're going to get much more confident with anybody. Friends, family, because you're going to understand them better, you're going to understand yourself better, and you're going to understand how to behave in a way that's attractive. And that's going to reattract your ex or help you with other people. So you have to do the work though, because if you don't, you're going to have little things set you off that you're not even aware of. We have all these little blind spots. And, I know what they are because I've been doing this for such a long time. Okay, and this is one of those things I'll point out to you guys in calls. But this is an email coaching today. And he started off by saying, please make more dating videos. Okay, we can make more dating videos. As a matter of fact, when you guys do email coachings with me, I'll be happy to help you with dating. Dating can be really confusing and complicated, especially if you grew up in a home where you didn't have your dad around, or, for us guys to teach us how to date and, what it's like to date people. We don't get a lot of that feedback to help us. So, dating is confusing, absolutely. But the stuff that I teach about mental health and attachment issues, that's truly the core of a relationship, okay? So when you master that, dating will also get easier. But let me go into this email. I thought this was an interesting one, so I think you'll like it. So he says, a hot woman liked me on Bumble and immediately started chatting with me. We found out that we lived in the same apartment building. It's pretty wild already, right? No further contact until I messaged a week later and asked her out. She was not there on time, so I texted her on Bumble. 15 minutes later, she arrived. Well, that wasn't very nice of her. 15 minutes. Sounds like she was over 15 minutes late. So that's something to consider. Why was she so late? She could have sent you a message. I think anything more like 5-ish minutes, if you're on a first date especially, just say, hey, I'll be there a few minutes late. I could tell she was nervous, lots of giggling, and didn't really want to tell me much about herself, but asked me a lot of questions. That's interesting. So it sounds like she was a little bit guarded there. I noticed she had an accent, but wouldn't say from where. Also interesting, right? Why does she not want to tell you where she's from and being so guarded? Interesting, right? Who knows? Maybe she's just nervous. It's a first date. But let's see where this goes. After we got drinks, she opened up and slowly started telling me about herself. She's a law professor in our city who came to the U.S. from Russia about a decade ago. Okay, so she started to open up a little bit more as the date went on. She is still on a cultural visa. She's 31 and I'm 38. I also have a law degree. After dinner, we got drinks. I paid and asked if she wanted to go downtown. Her eyes lit up and she said yes, but that she could drive us after dropping off my car at my apartment. She drove us, and upon walking up to the bar, she stopped directly in front of the door. She would not go in until I opened it up for her. Okay, maybe she was trying to be a little bit funny there, or maybe she was like, okay, I kind of expect the guy to open the door for me. Some people like that. Some people don't really care. But all right. Once inside, we sat across from each other. She asked me who I voted for as president. Weird question. I don't think it's so weird, particularly as divisive as things have become in the last few years. So I've seen a lot of breakups because of political differences. And so maybe there was something about you right off the bat that she sensed. I don't know, maybe you were wearing a giant red hat on your head, and so she decided to ask, who did you vote for? But, you know, she may have gotten some kind of vibe about you that she sensed it, or maybe that's just something important to her. I don't know. He says she's a liberal, and I am not. So maybe if that's important to her, that's why she's asking you from the get-go. People have different preferences in who they date, and so I think that's fine to ask that question, especially if it's something important to her. She never leaned in while we talked. She then agreed to walk to another bar. She also purposely stopped in front of that door so I could open it for her. Okay, so you opened the door for her, not a big deal. I noticed she got less nervous. She held strong eye contact, asked me to look down so she could look at what color my hair was, and touched my hair to see the color. I think that's a little bit more odd than the political question, right? She's playing with your hair. I mean, it's not a bad sign, but it's a little bit weird to see. I want to see your hair color. All right. How can she not see your hair color? Were you wearing a hat? Goes back to the red hat, huh? Right? This was the only time she touched me. Her body was directly facing me, although she kept her distance. They closed the bar down, but we ended up moving to a table and staying after everyone left. I asked her where she was from in Russia, so she pulled up a map and told me to guess. That's pretty funny. That's pretty cute, right? It sounds like she was trying to be a little playful with him there, right? After about 20 minutes, I guessed it. Wow, that game was going on for quite some time, huh? This was 4.5 hours into the date. Oh, that's a long date. She then took interest in my cell phone case and started messing with it. I felt this was odd, so I told her she wasn't getting into the phone. All right, so was she just trying to get into the phone case, or was she trying to unlock his phone and like get into his actual phone? Either way, it is a little bit unusual. Certainly, I don't know which is more unusual. I guess trying to go into his phone and snoop around. But yeah, let's go on. I tried to distract her by pointing to the cameras on the back in a silly manner. She replied, "I'm not an imbecile." Doesn't sound like your distraction was working. And rightfully so. I think she was kind of calling you out there. And I don't know why you were trying to distract her with the cameras on the back. And that was kind of weird to me. But she called you out. After about 5 minutes, she said she was ready to go, so we left. On the way back, I jokingly asked her if she was a spy. Perhaps this offended her. I don't know. It's possible. I mean, the fact that you're asking makes me wonder, did you sense a change in her body language when you said that? Did you see any kind of shift on her face, like her face changed? And did something happen that you suspected you offended her? I mean, some people might have just laughed it off immediately and thought that was funny. or, that you're being silly, but I don't know. You didn't say anything else about that. We arrived and she just stopped in front of my door and explained how to use the car handle to get out. So now did she think you were an imbecile? All right, you got to pull on the handle, get out. Get out. No, I don't know. Maybe it's some kind of unusual car door, I guess. I told her that I didn't have her number, only Bumble. She never offered me her number. Okay, so that to me is not necessarily a red flag, but it's certainly like something that you want to pay attention to. If you say that to somebody's number and they're really interested, they're going to be like, oh yeah, let me give it to you. But obviously her interest level wasn't there yet, for whatever reason. It's only a first date. Maybe she didn't feel comfortable enough with you. So you got to pay attention to those things. But I don't think it's a big deal either, right? It just tells you she may have not had a good enough time to give you that number, may have not felt comfortable enough yet. I wouldn't have stressed about that too much. I then went for the kiss, as you said to do. He put this in bold caps like he's blaming me. But got the cheek. I got the cheek because of Coach Craig. Listen, I think she would respect you more if you went for a kiss and she wasn't interested yet than you try and act like you're not romantically interested in you, because maybe she wasn't comfortable with you yet, or maybe she wasn't feeling enough of a connection with you yet. So, I'd much rather you have done it and then she just let you know she wasn't interested yet than, not doing it. But I mean, it's not a big deal. It's only a first date. But also, if you had looked at what happened just a moment before, she had not said anything about the number, it might have made you give pause for a moment and think, okay, maybe I shouldn't go for a kiss here if she's not wanting to give me her number, right? Because, her number would be something a little bit less intimate to do, right? I could give you my number, but she didn't even want to do that, and then you were trying to look for something more intimate than getting just a number, and so that didn't work, right? This made me feel rejected! Exclamation point! Well, you were rejected. The kiss was rejected. That doesn't mean that she wouldn't go out with you again, or that she wouldn't give you her number if you took her out again. Just mean she didn't want to kiss you on the first date. He says, I never messaged her again. Okay. I couldn't find any of your videos on that point, so I found a video that said not to contact someone who rejects a kiss. Look, not everybody is going to be interested in kissing you on the first date, okay? She didn't say, I don't want to see you anymore or anything like that. She just gave you the cheek and didn't say anything about the number yet. So, who knows what her situation is? Maybe she's just getting out of a breakup herself. Maybe she's dating other people, right? And maybe she likes somebody a little bit more than you and doesn't really know you yet. You can't get so offended and upset by one date, right? Because that's more of a reflection of your own mental health and attachment issues. And the fact that you felt so rejected, and it seems like really upset because you put bold caps lock, almost like blaming me, as you said to do, but I feel rejected, right? That's kind of reflective of what's going on within you. And so you got to work on those things. I'm guessing you probably felt rejected when you were little, and so you're sensitive to those things. And then you said, I never messaged her again, right? Well, why did you not message her again? She didn't say not to message her again. Maybe if you had messaged her, after 3 or 4 days and seen how she was doing, maybe she would have been happy to talk to you and thought, okay, well, you know what? I had a pretty good time. I'll go out with you again. And maybe you would have got a kiss on the second date, right? But you didn't message her again. So now, who knows what she's thinking, right? He says, 3 weeks later, she deleted her Bumble account, so now I have no way to message her. Now, wait a minute. Why do you want to message her now? Now you only want to message her because she deleted the account? I don't understand. You could have messaged her after the first date. Obviously not right after. maybe like 3 or 4 days later you messaged her, but now you're upset because now you don't have a way to contact her. Maybe she felt like you weren't interested. Maybe she thought you didn't have a great time, or maybe she was a little confused about things. So, I think I would have just asked or at least messaged her to see if she was interested in going out again. And then if she didn't, okay. But then you wouldn't be sitting here wondering, right? Why did she reject my kiss? Well, she doesn't know you. It's only a first date. She doesn't know a lot about you. Maybe there were questionable things you did on the date. Maybe she can sense you're insecure. And I don't know. Maybe you were a little eager. It's hard to say. You didn't point out anything throughout this that stood out other than how maybe you felt rejected when she didn't kiss you. And so maybe you have some blind spots that you just don't see about yourself yet. What did I do wrong? Well, I think the biggest thing you did here is you didn't contact her after the date to try and set another one. I think I would have tried to set another date there. Based on what you told me here, there wasn't anything that really stood out. But who knows? Maybe she is talking to some other guys that she's more interested in. Maybe she's got mental health issues. Maybe she felt you were too different politically, and so she thought that wouldn't work for her. There could have been any number of reasons. It doesn't necessarily mean that you did anything wrong. Now, sometimes it can mean those things, but when you're on a first date, people might be more, they don't have a lot of information about you, so they might be more keen on looking at small things and making it into a big deal. And the last question he asked is, how do I act if I run into her? Well, just if you see her, smile and wave, and if she comes over to you, you chat with her, say, how are your things, what's going on? In this situation, obviously the number may have been a sensitive thing, and she's not on the app anymore. So I might say something like, hey, here's my email. If you'd like to go out and go grab another drink sometime, just shoot me a message. Because there may have been something going on where she didn't feel comfortable enough to give you her number, and she's not on the app. So why not look for, in this situation, just saying, here's my email, and then that gives her an opportunity to email you if she's interested. That's what I would do in this situation. But look, dating has a lot to do with our own level of confidence and our own attachment issues. And the more you get centered within those things, the more likely you're going to stay confident no matter what happens in your dating life or your romantic life or, your love life. And so you always want to get to a good place within yourself because people will pick up those things about you. Okay? Now, small mistakes can make a big difference when you're dating somebody new. So you really got to be attentive and aware to how you're coming across to people until they get to know you a little bit better and feel more comfortable with you. Okay? I'll be happy to do more videos on dating. When you guys send in your email coachings about dating, I'll be happy to do stuff like this again in the future. A lot of times people like to hear the stuff about breakups, but yeah, I can go back and do some dating stuff. Just sign up for an email coaching on my website. And of course, if you want to do a Skype with me, that's also available on my website, askcraig.net. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.